For the English speakers, that means good evening. You good? She thought that was what just means. Doesn't mean how are you. It means are you good? Are you well? Ooh, Lord have mercy. This video, this live is brought to you by Qatar and the YouTube video that I watched about them a little while ago. And I'm going to explain, no, they didn't sponsor this video, but, you know, many days, probably at least once a week, I go through the thoughts of like, you know how they be like, F them kids? I'd be like, F them Africans, F them niggas. Why do I care? You know, like my family would tell me like, take care of yourself, stop worrying about Africa. But I was watching this video with Uncle John on Qatar about how, you know, they built their country from nothing, and just looking at the footage and how beautiful, you know, picturesque the place is. And you know, I'm just wired in such a way that as an African, I'm like, why do I have to suffer an unstable country just because I'm African? Just because I'm black? Just because you're African, you're supposed to just be okay with your country being uninhabitable and consistently secure? The devil Macron had the nerve. Don't get me started. Had the nerve to insult our African pride, telling AES that they were ungrateful. Only thing I have to say to Macron, or more so to Africans in regards to Macron, is Totaimon le left, right, Oya Totaimon le left, right, Totaimon le left, right, Oya Totaimon le left, right. You know what that means? If you don't know those lyrics, go look up Yinka Ayefele. Totaimon le. It means step on your enemies. Step on your enemies. Totaimon le. When you see Macron's face, Totaimon le. When you hear Macron's name, Totaimon le. Totaimon le left, right. Oh yeah, Totaimon le left, right. Okay, so I'm gonna do my best to connect the Qatar video and my rage about bastards like Macron and bastards like the person who calls himself president of Nigeria right now. My own 15 years of chronic illness, chronic pain primarily, and being a displaced empath. So I'm listening to a lot of Inner Mileage, Dr. Jesse, Nana Jesse, if I'm saying your name right. And I love the way that he breaks down the empath's experience, right? And he talks a lot about how the empath is, you know, it's quote unquote selected to have a really hard life, right? Empaths are people who feel like profoundly more than the average human. We have a deep sensitivity to the pain that others feel. We are deeply sensitive to all emotions, the whole range of emotions that others may feel around us, right? And it can destabilize you if you are not a healed empath, right? If you are somebody who cares too much, if you are somebody who feels like your body, your nervous system, your heart, you react to how other people are feeling, right? You're quite possibly an empath. If you have gone through hardship after hardship after hardship, you're quite possibly an empath. If you've gone through all these hardships and remained kind, as Dr. JC says, right? The unique element of the empath is the empath remains kind, sensitive, caring, compassionate, in spite of what they go through, in spite of how they're treated. And it's really a relief to feel so seen and so reflected in the teachings of someone like him, because he's not just talking about the characteristics, he's also talking about the solutions, how you become a healed empath, right? And so we are going to say some prayers for empaths. When I talk about displaced empaths, people who have these empath qualities, who are deeply empathetic, deeply feel what others are going through, deeply care for others and want to take care of others and want to be a solution to other people's problems as much as they can. And then there's a unique subset of those who are displaced, culturally displaced, geographically displaced, right? Hi to y'all who are watching. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for the love. I would love to hear where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you if you're an empath, if you have chronic illness, if any of this resonates with you. I would love to hear from you. So so there's a subset of empaths who are displaced, culturally displaced, geographically displaced, right? I've told y'all in the past, I was born in Lagos, raised in Lagos, London, then Missouri in the States, right? The chronic experience of movement, the chronic experience of displacement, missing my grandmothers, missing my soil, my red soil from Ijebu Ode, and I'm calling it Ijebu Ijeshatedo in Surulere in Lagos, right? Having distinct memories of my childhood, right? And having the sort of nervous system memory of the comfort of being home, of being on my soil, of being surrounded by my family, of eating our foods, of hearing our music, right? I'm the only one amongst my siblings who really has that experience or that memory of being in Nigeria, right? And I was fluent Yoruba speaker as a child, right? So there is an element of displacement, right? There's this sort of biological displacement in terms of how the environment is different, the food is different, the sounds are different, right? The people around you are different, the energy is different. All of that has a sort of physiological impact. The language is different, right? One man, Riot, says he has dealt with the same. I want to hear more about that. So being displaced, right, and sort of pining for home, being homesick, right? And wanting to go home, but also recognizing that home is in many ways the mouth of a shark. Now, and I don't want to be one of those people. I'm not one of those people who just likes to decry Nigeria or just talk bad about Nigeria all the time, right? Nigeria is a marvelous place with marvelous people who I believe are the most intelligent, some of the most beautiful, most powerful people in the world. Like, I am very, very biased in favor of Nigerians. I do very much believe that Nigerians have some super genes compared to the rest of the world, the planet. And so, but at the same time, insecurity is just through the roof. Food instability is through the roof, right? The average Nigerian has the mindset of, let me just make mine, let me just get mine, let me just make my money so I can separate myself from the masses, right? Like, oh yeah, the poverty, it impacts all those other people over there, but I'm just not going to let it impact me. I'm going to do what I have to do to separate myself from the poverty so that I can move to a different part where the poor people are not, right? And I can be among the wealthy, be among the comfortable people, and I'll be safe. So one man, Riot, says they've been through California, Hawaii, Florida, and many others. It's hard to find self and others to be self with. Yes. Once displacement is endured, that's real. That's so real. I feel that. Feel that in my bones. So we were saying about, Nigerians wanting to sort of separate themselves from the poverty, make the money, and just hope that you can keep the drama at bay for as long as possible, right? I'm sure some of y'all have heard that quote, eventually the poor will have nothing left to eat but the rich. Have you heard that before? Are you seeing that kind of float up in these times? Hi from India. Y'all distracted me, but I want to say what's up. I appreciate having y'all here. This is Vandnat. Oh, okay. Vandnatwari. Thank you for your sweet words, your kind words. Um, so yeah, the goal is always to separate from the poor people, but if you realize that we are all like a paycheck away, a war away from being the poor, being among the poor, right? Then you wake up to the realization that you cannot just keep poverty at bay forever, right? You can't just keep the poor people outside. You can't just build 20 feet fences and be okay, because eventually it will reach you, most likely. If you have a conscience, if you're empathetic, you feel it anyway, right? And so, yeah, shout out to the people who have made their fortunes and who constantly give back and who are deeply invested in giving back and taking care of, their communities and their countries. Yes, a lot of people do that, and that's wonderful. But at the end of the day, if we don't change the structure, we're just going to be putting band aids on problems forever, right? And even in this war, this world war that we are in now, it forces us to reckon with the fact that, again, you can't keep it at bay forever. Somehow, the evil in the world will catch up with you, because there is hardly a country that is not in some way impacted by this evil war, this unjust war, this criminal war that is ongoing right now against Iran and many parts of the Middle East. Shout out to Lebanon. Shout out to Congo. Shout out to Sudan. Shout out to Nigeria. Shout out to Burkina Faso, AES, Mali. Bruh. It makes me so upset. It makes me so upset what's happening. It makes me so upset that we allow these evil warmongers to proliferate their evil so freely. I feel it in my body. I feel the rage. I feel the upset, right? And I have always been like this. I've always been deeply emotional about what's happening in the world and the evil that goes on in the world. And again, coming back to the empath, you don't just feel the emotions, it becomes a physiological experience. When this type of thing happens consistently, it becomes a physiological experience. And it's nice to say to people, like, oh, just don't worry about it. Don't think about it. This is what people tell me, like, worry about yourself. I wish I could just, I wish I could just snap my fingers and just worry about myself. I'm just not built that way. I'm literally just not wired that way. I came into the world like this. And so if you're an empath, I'm sure you can relate to like feeling the weight of the world when, especially when evil is proliferating, when so much harm is being done, right? And so when you feel that those emotions so intensely and physiologically, it has a way of hardening in your body, right? Now we're learning more about somatic illness and how thoughts become things, emotions become hardened in our body, our fascia gets stiff, we have to stretch, we have to walk, we have to dance, we have to move, we have to sing, activate our vagus nerve, right? The healing for somatic chronic illnesses, the healing modalities are expanding, right? 20 years ago, I've been dealing with this for 15 years. My daughter is 14. I'm sorry, my daughter is 17. I've been dealing with this since she was a baby. Okay, even before I had her, I had some symptoms, but it wasn't until after I had her that things got like really, really, escalated. And when I say chronic illness, for me, it's been primarily chronic pain. It's been a lot of pain in my body as I'm talking to you right now. Like my neck and shoulders are literally on fire. And that is something I have just become accustomed to. And I have good days, and I have other days, right? And one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this is because, like, those of y'all who followed my work for some time, or you listen to my videos, you read my blogs, the goal has always been a certain level of consistency. And you will notice that the consistency is not always what you might want it to be, right? And that's because sometimes a nigga get laid out in bed for days, can't do nothing, right? I spent this last few days, this is my first day feeling like up and at 'em. It's been like 4 days of being pretty much bedridden, right? And so when your body is doing things that you feel that you cannot control, it can really weigh on you mentally and emotionally as well, right? So you have the physical, you have the emotional, you have the spiritual, and so this sort of like tanglement of challenges on the multi-dimensional challenges, it can really become embodied pain, embodied harm, right? Embodied illness. And so I want to share a little bit of like what I do to navigate and how I can still be here because it's all prayer and God and the divine and mother and Jesus and everybody that's looking out for me, my family, like my chosen family. I am super, super, super fortunate. Super, super fortunate to be taken care of and to be safe and to be like provided for by the divine, even with the chronic symptoms that I've been dealing with for so long. So praise the Most High. We're going to do some prayers and some praise. We might have to sing some Victor Thompson in a bit. But it all comes back to this idea of illness that is non material in the sort of like conventional sense, right? I had a doctor say to me years ago, someone that I know well, who said to me that autoimmune disease is not a real thing. And that if a patient came to them talking about they had autoimmune symptoms, that person would put them on antidepressants, right? And for me, it was like, okay, this is a doctor I know I need to stay away from because this is a dangerous person as far as my symptoms are concerned. Because this is not somebody who's focused on healing. This is someone who's focused on symptom control and medication, right? And when you deal with these chronic symptoms, you desire healing. You desire an end to the pain. You desire an end to the symptoms. You desire to nip it at the bud, to find the root cause so that you don't have to deal with it anymore, right? You're not satisfied with a pill, with some form of medication. You're not satisfied with any sort of temporary relief. Like you might take it, but at the end of the day, you want the true deep relief, right? And you work towards that. You do what you can. You try the different things. If you can afford the proper holistic care, you might get like a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine practitioner who can, most of the time, they will prescribe you still a whole plethora of like natural supplements and natural practices, right? What has been most helpful for me is herbology. It's really nothing has as much of an impact as me drinking my herbs, my nettle, my dandelion, a little bit of sage here and there, hibiscus, right? Like having, being loaded up on that. Fermented food is also very helpful for like rebuilding the gut, which is very deeply tied to chronic inflammation and autoimmune conditions. And then protein, the autoimmune protocol where you do primarily like animal proteins and vegetables, root vegetables and salads and things like that, right? So eating that type of diet and then eating enough. A lot of us don't eat enough. We don't get enough calories. A lot of times when you have so many sensitivities, it can make you kind of anxious about eating because there are things that may trigger your pain or your symptoms, and you're trying to be really careful. So that means it limits how you can go out, right? Because you can't always like socialize with everybody and eat what they're eating. You have to be really particular about what restaurants you eat at. You have to be really particular about what do you get at those places. What do they have to offer you, right? So it can really impact your life in so many different ways when you're dealing with chronic inflammation or autoimmune conditions, um, especially when you've tried the medical route, you've tried the conventional route, and they haven't really completely solved the problem, or you've even tried the functional route, the naturopathic route, and it's helped. They've gotten things under control, but you still find that you are triggered, right? And it's possible to be triggered in so many different ways. It could be a lack of sleep. Sometimes people's sleep, their hormones are imbalanced, or your sleep may not be consistent, so you may not have enough sort of regenerative rest, right? You may not have deep enough rest, and you may not regenerate your cells at the rate and the level that you're supposed to, right? So all these different things can trigger symptoms, can trigger pain, can trigger illness, and can really frustrate you, right? Mentally, emotionally, you might struggle with like the challenges of just sort of maintaining or managing the symptoms, right? And so a lot of people that I have come across who have dealt with chronic inflammation, chronic pain, chronic illness have come into this sort of, especially women, have come into this sort of like metaphysical approach to healing, because a lot of women realize that our illnesses, when chronic like this, they're not just about the physical experience or physical symptoms, they are deeply spiritual. They are somatic. One of the big things that came up for me was a lot of times when we have inflammation, there is anger towards ourselves or towards others, right? So, like forgiveness, self intimacy, right? Like, really, that capacity to deeply study yourself, connect with yourself, like, address your deepest needs, be intimate with yourself emotionally, like, really talk to your heart, listen to your heart, and know what your heart is asking for, what your heart is desiring, and moving through the process to give yourself, what your heart is calling for, right? And sometimes, as simple as these things may sound, they can be incredibly difficult to do. And so it becomes super important to have the capacity and have the space to even move through these processes with yourself, to even ask yourself these questions, to whether it's journaling, prayer walks, yoga, meditation, right? Like, these are things that take time. And when you have chronic illness, it can be really difficult to keep a 9 to 5, right? Especially when you're doing the whole shaman, holistic, like metaphysical thing, because your spirit is calling you and moving you to take certain actions and to explore certain things and to interrogate certain aspects of your experience. And if you're on a rigid schedule where you have to deliver certain things on a certain timeline, if the pain flares up, you got to just take ibuprofen. You got to suppress it in order to function in that 9 to 5 container. But if you do that, you are likely making the disease or the symptoms worse over time, right? Because you are suppressing them as opposed to relieving them. And so that's one of the reasons I feel incredibly fortunate, because even though I've dealt with this for so long, much longer than I would have liked to, I would have loved to believe that this would have been done. Like, once you come up on these type of symptoms, you expect that it's going to be like, no, I'm going to heal this, right? I've been a naturopath like for a very long time, 20 years of studying herbs and natural foods and natural healing. And so you think, oh, it's going to be, I'm going to heal it, right? You come to a place of recognizing that the illness itself is a form of initiation. Um, and there is a level of acceptance that is needed, right? Where you have to be able to accept your life as it is in the present, that it cannot be that your life has to change, your symptoms have to change, your condition has to change for you to be grateful, for you to be joyful, for you to be happy. So I was trying to talk about how grateful I am to be so fortunate to have the space, to be blessed with the space and the capacity to interrogate, bit by bit, when these flare ups happen, when these inflammation triggers happen, that one, I have the capacity to rest, right? That I don't have to be rushing out the door and like suppressing the pain with Tylenol and whatever crazy, intense like painkillers, right? I have the capacity to do the spirit work and the meditation and the prayer and the asking and the walking and the stretching, right? Super, super fortunate in that way. At the same time, yeah, I would love for this to be like gone. Okay, I would love to snap my fingers and it would be completely gone. But some of the things that work for me I've shared, and I'll just do like a quick review of that in a moment. But yeah, the main point is to help us recognize that there are so many people who are experiencing this and who don't talk about it, who don't know how to talk about it, because the average person has no clue that this is a reality. The average person knows nothing about autoimmune conditions unless they have done their own research into somatic illness and somatic healing. Most people don't even know. Most people don't even know that autoimmune is a real thing. It has a lot of times to do with, I kind of mentioned leaky gut before, right? People's guts get porous because of stress, because of lack of sleep, because of emotional triggers, trauma that happens in your life that just like messes with your sleep, messes with your hormones, messes with your ability to digest your food, right? And then the next thing you know, you are becoming sensitive to certain foods that you used to eat all the time. Now you eat them, you feel pain, right? Or you feel fatigue, you feel weighed down. Things that you used to do, that you used to have energy to do, stretch. I found out that something was wrong. I used to go running. I used to go running like every day. Every new day I would get up and run all up around Crown Heights of Brooklyn. And then all of a sudden it was like I couldn't do it anymore because I would run and I would feel so heavy, so much weight, so much pain. And it was not like the usual soreness, right? And these are the types of things that you go to the doctors and you explain to them. In those times, there was no real understanding of autoimmune condition. And so you have these symptoms, and either people don't understand, or the people who do are incredibly expensive to be able to, for them to be able to support you. And so a lot of us end up figuring it out on our own, praying for guidance, tapping into like that sort of spiritual embodiment with the herbs, and determining what herbs we need to be taking for our well-being, right? What foods we need to be eating to strengthen our bodies, our blood, our immune system, etc. Right? And there are examples of people that I know of who will talk about like having healed themselves, and really what that means is that they have gotten to a place of stability. Like some people, I'm sure, have totally healed themselves and don't have symptoms anymore, right? That's oftentimes with like a really clean dietary protocol where they cut out all like triggering foods, and they're able to do that for an extended period and then sort of reintroduce foods. And again, this is very expensive, right? Because you're like talking about living off of offal, or they call it offal, OFFAL, which is like liver and heart and all that type of stuff from animals. You're eating those things. You're eating like sweet potatoes. You're eating greens, and it's a great diet. You look good. You feel good. But it can be very expensive to like stay full on that. So another thing that happens is you try that diet and then you end up not getting enough calories. So anyway, making this point to let y'all know, like, this is what I be dealing with a lot of the time. So if you don't see me consistently, you just gotta know that she's taking care of body, taking care of soul, taking care of home. And so now speaking to, prayers for empaths and displaced empaths, especially, I just really want to speak to those of us, especially like Nigerian empaths, Yoruba empaths, firstborn daughter empaths. Those of us who feel the state of the world intensely, deeply, painfully, for whom the pain radiates in our bodies daily. I just want to call you in right now and just let you know that I love you. I appreciate you. I feel your pain, and it is well. It is well. It is going to be well. And it is time for the empath to rise. It is time for the empaths to unite, to be strengthened in each other's presence, in each other's company. And it's time for us to tap into the Divine Mother and her support. And so we have every opportunity now to tap into all the power and love and light that is available to us to heal our bodies, our minds, our souls, and to radiate light and love as we heal this world. So let's take some deep breaths and pray. Can you do that? Get loose, get loose. Roll your neck. You want to stretch your arms. You want to lift your arms. Do what you gotta do. Mind your waist. Bend your sides. Just roll. Just take deep breaths. inhale through your nose. Hold it. Slow exhale through your mouth. So with me, we're always going to do a deep inhale through the nose, hold it, fill up the belly, the chest. Hold it for as long as we can. 4, 8, 12 seconds. And then we're going to exhale loudly through the mouth. Deep in, hold, long, exhale, loud. Everybody ready for rest? Spread my arms of love to every displaced empath out in the world right now. I feel you. I touch you with the light of God, with the light of the divine right now. I declare peace in your heart right now. I declare rest in your soul right now. I declare rest in your body and your being right now. Yeshua's mighty name, in the name of the most benevolent ancestors, we pray. Peace, 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 peace. Rest, 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 rest. Trust, 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 trust. Truth, 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 truth. Divine heart, divine mother, divine infinity permeate our hearts. Permeate our beings with your deepest truth, with your deepest light, your light of all creation. Give us rest in your truth. Give us trust in your divinity. Give us rest in each other, that we attract your divine blessings, your divine light, your divine goodness, your divine sweetness right now, Mother. Thank you. Thank you. We receive divine light. We receive divine peace. We receive divine strength in our beings right now, holding us up, giving us clarity, sharpening our vision, clarifying our direction, peace, trust, rest, Asha. We receive favor. We receive open doors. We receive blessed miracles, good news, great news coming to your empathetic, divine healers and soldiers right now, Mother. Us with our hearts out for humanity. We receive the renewal of your faith, of your light, of your trust in our hearts right now, Mother. We receive the strength that comes with this renewal, Mother Asha. We thank you. We thank you for the cleansing, for the washing out of all energies and all thoughts and all intentions that are not of you, that are not for our highest good. We wash it all out now. We cleanse it. We purge it. We pour the holy light, the holy water upon our lives and our bodies, our beings, our minds, our hearts right now. We wash out everything that is not of you, Mother. Divine Creator, Mother. Divine Infinity, Father, Creator of all, Mother, Father. We thank you. We welcome you. Replace our beingness with your purity, with your holiness, with your divinity right now. Let it be what we embody. Let it be what permeates the entirety of our being right now, Asha. Give us peace in knowing you, our alignment with you, and rest. Thank you for our unity. Thank you for our power. Thank you for our alignment. Thank you for our receiving right now, Mother. We are receiving your goodness. We are receiving your riches in love, riches in heart, your riches in care, your riches in abundance. You are providing everything we need right now, Mother. You are providing everything we need right now, Mother. You are providing everything we need right now, Mother. In Yeshua's mighty name, our soul family is here. Our intimate loved ones are here. Our community is here. Our riches are here. Our resources are here. Our provisions are here. Our needs are met. Our needs are here, Asha. Everything that we desire and everything that we ask of you is already here. Asha. Everything that you may need is sprinting on its way to thee. Abundant generosity, it blindsides you with so much speed. The Holy Spirit activates the hearts meant to bless you today. They hurry up and operate on all God says they can't delay. Your mother, she is dedicated to make sure you elevate, I'll see it happening today. For your convictions, all you pay. You gotta know that you deserve all great things promised in her words. Now rest, release, and trust your truth. See great things happening for you. As much as you can tap into sensations of delivered proof, they manifest inside of you and outside has to match and move. Everything that you may need is sprinting on its way to be. Abundant generosity, it blindsides you with so much speed. The Holy Spirit activates the hearts meant to bless you today. They hurry up and operate on all God says they can today. Your mother, she is dedicated to make sure you elevate. I'll see it happening today. For your convictions, all you pay. You gotta know that you deserve all great things promised in her words, and rest, release, and trust her truth. See great things happening for you. As much as you can tap into sensations of delivered proof, they manifest inside of you and outside has to match and move. Everything that you may need is sprinting on its way to the abundant generosity. It blindsides you with so much speed. The Holy Spirit activates the hearts meant to bless you today. They hurry up and operate on all God says they can today. Your mother, she is dedicated to make sure you elevate. See it happening today. For your convictions, all you pay. Gotta know that you deserve all great things promised in God's word. Now rest, release, and trust their truth. See great things happening for you. As much as you can tap into sensations of delivered proof, they manifest inside of you and outside has to match and move. The Lord is opening to me her great treasures, the heavens, to give rain onto my land in this season, and to bless all the work of my hands. I lend unto many nations, I do not borrow. The Lord has made me the head and not the tail. I'm above, I cannot be beneath, as I hearken unto the commandments of the Lord my God, which you command me this day to observe and to do them. I do not go aside from any of the words which you command me this day, to right hand or left, for I fear the gods to serve them. Yeshua's mighty name. Asha. I'll see you very soon. Hope you got something out of it. If it blessed you, bless somebody else with the message. Click on the things so that our community can grow and strengthen. I love y'all.